Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something that affects so many of us. Persistent fatigue and that feeling of just, well, weakness.
Mm,
It's an issue that gets dismissed a lot,
Yeah,
as just part of modern life or getting older.
that's so true. And our sources are really clear on this. Being constantly exhausted is not your destiny. It's a signal.
A signal. I like that.
Yeah, it's a signal that there's a systemic imbalance. And it's not just physical. I mean, it hits your focus, your mood, your ability to just show up in the world.
So our mission today is to basically unpack that.
Mm.
We're going to treat this information like a toolkit, find the real causes, the science behind them, and then the most important part, the actual strategies you can use.
Different things you can start doing right away.
Exactly. So let's start with the definitions because the words themselves matter here.
They really do.
We have fatigue, which is that deep, profound exhaustion. It can be physical, mental, you name it. And then there's weakness.
Which is more that drained feeling, right? Like you physically can't muster the strength, and it often comes with a total lack of motivation.
They definitely overlap, but the approach to fixing them might be a little different.
And before we get into any of the lifestyle stuff, we have to stress this one point. The very first step has to be ruling out the medical fundamentals.
Non-negotiable.
Absolutely. The sources all agree. See a doctor, because this kind of fatigue is a classic symptom for some really serious conditions.
We're talking about things like thyroid disorders, for one.
Right. An underactive or overactive gland just throws your whole metabolism into chaos.
Then there's diabetes with the blood sugar issues draining all your energy. And anemia, of course.
Yeah, if you don't have enough iron or hemoglobin, your body literally can't transport the oxygen your cells need to make energy. It's a fundamental breakdown.
And we can't forget the mental health side of things.
Oh, that's a massive one. Depression and anxiety are huge energy drains. They just put your nervous system on high alert 24/7. And of course, if it's been going on for more than 6 months, chronic fatigue syndrome itself is something to look into.
So once that medical checklist is clear, and for a lot of people it will be, then we can pivot.
Then you look at the slow burn, the modern lifestyle culprits, bad sleep, like a diet full of, processed junk, and just constant low-grade stress.
Okay, so let's get into the hidden stuff, the things that are happening inside the body. For anyone who's tried eating better or sleeping more and still feel totally wiped out by 3 p.m., this is where the fight really is.
This is the body's chemistry lab.
So where do we start with the hormones? What's the biggest culprit?
Well, it almost always starts with cortisol.
The stress hormone.
The stress hormone, exactly. But here's the key insight. When it's chronically high, it's not just making you feel anxious. It actively messes up your sleep-wake cycle. It destabilizes your blood sugar.
And is that what causes that classic afternoon crash?
That's it. You wake up tired, you're running on fumes, and then you just hit a wall. It's a direct result of that cortisol disruption.
Wow. And I found it fascinating how that connects to the thyroid. You hear about T4 and T3 for metabolism, right? But high cortisol can actually stop your body from converting the inactive T4 into the active energy-giving T3 hormone.
Yes. The synergy is everything. It's all connected. And then you have adrenaline, which is meant for, like, short-term emergencies.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. But if your phone buzzing gives you that little jolt 100 times a day, your system is just flooded. It makes deep, restorative sleep almost impossible. You're left feeling wired and tired at the same time.
So if hormones are the regulators, the nutrients are the fuel itself, what are the big ones our sources kept flagging, not just a generic multivitamin?
Right. It's about the specific metabolic choke points. Iron, vitamin B12, magnesium, and potassium. They came up again and again. Iron for oxygen, we covered that. What about B12? B12 is critical for your nerves and for making red blood cells. But magnesium and potassium, I think people really overlook these.
Yeah.
They are central to how your muscles work, how your nerves fire, and the whole process of creating cellular energy, ATP. Without them, the whole system is just inefficient.
And a blood test can pinpoint these, right?
Yeah.
But the solution isn't just taking a pill.
No, it has to be comprehensive. It might involve targeted supplements or even hormone replacement therapy in some cases, but it all has to work with the lifestyle changes we're about to get into.
Okay, let's talk about those big levers, the foundational pillars. Starting with sleep, we all know it's important, but what are the high-impact, science-backed moves that really make a difference?
It really comes down to regulating your circadian rhythm. And the biggest factor there is light.
Light.
Environmental light. You absolutely have to get sunlight in your eyes in the morning, ideally within 30 minutes of waking up.
Why is that so important?
It sends a powerful signal to your brain to shut off melatonin production. It basically sets your body's internal clock for the entire day.
And the opposite is true at night.
The exact opposite. You have to be ruthless about blocking blue light from screens. Those specific wavelengths actively stop your brain from releasing the melatonin you need to fall asleep.
Okay, so that leads right into fuel. Let's not talk about what carbs are, but let's talk about quality.
And timing, yeah. It's all about managing the glycemic load. You want complex carbs and fiber, not sugary, processed stuff that gives you that huge glucose spike.
Because what goes up must come down.
And it comes down hard. That's the energy crash.
Yeah.
And then there's hydration, which is so much more than just drinking water.
This is the electrolyte.
It's all about the electrolytes, balancing your sodium, magnesium, potassium. Even a really mild imbalance can tank your cognitive function and make you feel physically tired.
So what's the actionable tip here?
Well, urine color is a good basic guide, but really, you need to be eating mineral-rich foods. Leafy greens, avocados, bananas, nuts. That's what keeps those levels stable.
Now, this is where it can get really tricky. The link between mental health and fatigue. It's such a vicious cycle.
It really is. The sources are so clear about how conditions like depression and anxiety just burn through your physical resources. They wreck your sleep, which makes you more tired.
Which then makes it impossible to cope with stress, so the anxiety gets worse.
And you're stuck in this loop. Now, everyone says just meditate, but let's get specific. What do our sources say that makes it actually work for fatigue?
It's about interrupting that threat response. Mindfulness isn't just about relaxing. It's about being present without judgment.
So you're not trying to stop the stress, but observe it.
Exactly. You notice the racing heart, the shallow breathing, and you learn not to spiral. You're basically telling your nervous system, it's okay, we're not actually in danger. And that lowers cortisol.
And we have to call out the biggest modern fatigue trigger, technology.
Oh, the screens.
The screens, the notifications, they keep your brain in a state of high alert. And that blue light, as we said, crushes your melatonin.
So the strategy has to be creating boundaries.
Aggressive boundaries. The research is clear. Device-free zones are a must. The bedroom, especially, should be a sanctuary.
I also like the idea of a solid morning routine. A bit of exercise, maybe some meditation, a good breakfast. It provides structure.
It reduces decision fatigue. You start the day with a win, and that builds momentum.
Okay, let's move to the toolkit. Supplements. What's the main takeaway here?
The main role is to address the root cause, not just paper over the cracks with stimulants.
Right. So what actually works? Our sources mention a few key ones. Caffeine, obviously, by blocking those adenosine receptors.
Yep, that's a proven one. But then you have things that work at a cellular level, like coenzyme Q10.
CoQ10.
Yeah, that helps your mitochondria, your little cellular power plants, produce ATP more efficiently.
And for the stress side of things.
That's where adaptogens come in. Rhodiola rosea was mentioned a lot. It helps your body adapt to stress and can actually increase neurotransmitters so you feel less tired without the crash. And N-acetylcysteine, or NAC.
NAC, right, for glutathione.
It boosts glutathione, which is critical for cellular energy.
But just as important as what to avoid. The sources were very clear on this.
Very clear. We're talking about powerful stimulants that can be dangerous. Guarana, for one, can cause jitters, irregular heartbeat.
Not a good feeling.
No. And then you have things like yohimbine and especially ma huang, which is ephedra.
That's a serious one.
It's a very serious stimulant. It can dangerously spike your heart rate and blood pressure. You have to be so careful.
Always consult a professional.
Always.
Okay, our final pillar, and maybe the most underrated one, social support.
It sounds soft, but the effect is pure biochemistry.
How so?
A strong support network acts as a buffer against stress. When you feel safe and connected, your brain perceives fewer threats.
Which means less cortisol.
Less cortisol, better immune function, better mental health. It's a direct physiological benefit.
And the action step here is to be intentional about it.
Yes. Figure out what you need. Is it emotional support, practical help, just someone to listen, and then build that network.
And remember that asking for help is a sign of strength.
It's a sign of strategic self-awareness. It is not weakness.
So, to recap the whole journey we've mapped out, it seems to be about hitting 4 core areas. First, check the internal science, your hormones, your nutrient levels. Second, optimize the absolute basics. Sleep, fuel, hydration.
Third, manage your mind, break that stress and fatigue loop. And fourth, build your connections, your support network.
It's a holistic approach.
It has to be. And the real synthesis here is that this is a journey of self-compassion and persistence. The knowledge gives you the power to make a change. You are not a victim of your fatigue.
Building on that power, recognizing that so much of fatigue comes from feeling overwhelmed, which makes us avoid the very things that could give us energy. Here's something to think about. What single tiny habit, I'm talking 5 minutes of mindful breathing, or writing down just one thing you're grateful for, what tiny habit could you commit to today to break that cycle of avoidance and start building unstoppable momentum? Think about that first small move and just make it happen.